When you think about what makes AI fast, your mind probably jumps straight to the GPUs, right? The processors. But what if I told you the single most critical component for a giant AI training cluster isn't the processor at all? It's the network that ties them all together. That's where the real magic happens, and as it turns out, it's also where the biggest bottlenecks are hiding. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back. This is part 8 of our deep dive, a 15-part tutorial based on the fantastic report, Building Large-Scale AI Data Centers from Virtualization Options LLC. Today, we're zoning in on Chapter 8 to really understand the superhighway that runs inside the AI data center, the East-West network. So here's our game plan. First, we'll try to wrap our heads around the insane scale of data we're dealing with. Then, we'll define what this internal traffic actually is. After that, we'll look at the nightmare scenario, what happens when it goes wrong. Then we'll walk through the blueprint for building it right, and we'll cap it all off with the one thing you absolutely need to remember. To really get why this network is so important, we have to start with the sheer volume of data flying around. And honestly, it's a scale that's almost hard to believe. 20,000 times. Just let that number sink in for a moment. The data throughput density, basically how much data is crammed into the network, inside an AI training cluster is 20,000 times greater than what you'd find in a typical data center. This isn't just a small step up. It's a whole different reality that changes everything about how you have to build these things. And if that number feels a little abstract, this quote from the report just nails it. A cluster with about 1,000 GPUs spits out 20 terabytes of traffic in less than a tenth of a second. That's more data than some entire companies generate in a month. And it happens with every single step of the training process. It's a constant, high-speed data explosion over and over and over again. So what do we actually call this massive internal data flow? Well, engineers have a name for it, east-west traffic. You might also hear it called the GPU fabric, and that's a perfect description. Simply put, east-west traffic is the non-stop, high-speed conversation happening between all the GPUs. The term GPU fabric is so good because it's literally the material that weaves thousands of individual computer brains into one single massive supercomputer. Without it, you just have a bunch of powerful, isolated chips. Now, to make this crystal clear, let's contrast it with something you're probably more familiar with, north-south traffic. That's data coming into the data center from the internet or going back out. East-west, on the other hand, is all the internal chatter. And see that technical term, GPU gradient synchronization? That's just a fancy way of saying all the GPUs are constantly sharing notes, telling each other what they've learned thousands of times a second. So think of it this way. North-south is the ramp onto the highway. East-west is the 100-lane superhighway itself. Okay, so now we know what it is and just how massive it is. But what happens if you don't build this superhighway correctly? Well, you create the world's most expensive traffic jam. Just look at this. A well-designed network lets your GPUs absolutely sing, running at about 95% utilization. But a poorly designed network, one that's slow or gets congested, causes that efficiency to just plummet down to 60%. What that really means is for over a third of the time, your multi-million-dollar GPUs are doing absolutely nothing. Just sitting there, idle, waiting for data. And let's be really clear about the financial impact here. This isn't just a small dip in performance. Wasting 35% of your most expensive hardware is like buying 3 brand new Formula One cars, but being forced to leave one parked in the garage for good. It is a catastrophic failure of planning that can completely destroy the economics of a project. So how do the pros avoid this kind of disaster? Well, it's not guesswork. There's a systematic 5-step blueprint for designing a high-performance GPU fabric that can actually handle this insane load. This right here is the chain of thought reasoning from the guide, and it's absolutely critical. It starts with the AI model itself to figure out its unique communication needs. Then you calculate the total throughput required, a metric called bisection bandwidth, which is basically the highway's absolute maximum capacity. Step 3, you map that requirement to a physical design, often something called a fat tree topology. It's this clever way of building a network with so many redundant paths that you essentially eliminate traffic jams. From there, it's the nuts and bolts, figuring out how many switches and ports you need. And finally, you have to validate that the total delay or latency is practically zero. Each step builds on the last, creating a network perfectly tailored to the job. And hey, for the engineers out there who actually have to build this stuff, the guide points to the industry Bibles. Resources like NVIDIA's NCCL documentation and the Open Compute Project guides, these are the playbooks for turning those blueprints into reality. That last one, ROSI v2, is a really key protocol that helps make all this happen with incredibly low delay. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of technical stuff. After all that, what is the one thing you absolutely have to remember about the East-West network? Here it is boiled down. First, the scale is mind-bending, 20,000 times denser. Second, this network is the #1 reason for wasted idle GPUs. If they aren't working, this is almost always the culprit. And third, and this is probably the most crucial point, you have to get this right from day one. As the report points out, trying to go back and fix a bad network after everything is built isn't just expensive, it can be flat out impossible. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. We've just seen how critical this GPU fabric is for today's models. But as these models get exponentially bigger and more complex, their hunger for communication is only going to grow. So what happens when even today's superhighways aren't nearly enough? What new architectures are we going to have to invent to keep up?